All right, what's going on, everybody? Back to back uploads. My God. I apologize, guys, that I'm so sporadic with my uploads. And, people are emailing me a lot to say, hey, can you make a video about so-and-so? And truth is, I've been very busy. I talk to a lot of OCD people. I talk to mostly HOCD people. And then I still have a full-time other job. And so, yeah, things have been crazy busy, and that's all good. It's been great to work with people and to see them make progress and to learn treatment and to get some freedom back in their lives from OCD. And I've had these questions that come up all the time of like, can you just give us like some of the most important pointers? So I want to make a video called my 5 top tips for dealing with HOCD specifically, although, I mean, really they would be the same 5 tips for dealing with pretty much any type of OCD. But here they go. And my guess is if you dig through my other videos, I say all this stuff. So I'll try to keep it concise and pretty quick here. But tip number 1, with all types of OCD, is to say yes to the question of, are you willing to accept uncertainty about your theme? So when it comes to the question of HOCD, are you willing to accept the uncertainty that A, you might be gay and you might not realize it, B, you might be gay, but you're so afraid of it that you might be in denial. C, you could be bisexual and you're never going to figure it out. D, this could all be OCD and nothing more. But most importantly, you're saying yes to the uncertainty of the question. And what that really means is you're just not doing anything anymore to try to figure out the answer. Okay, I've said this before in another video that sometimes people play with the term uncertainty and they'll say stuff like, well, no, I don't need 100% certainty, but if I can get 95% certain, then I feel pretty comfortable. No, that's what we're talking about in the world of OCD treatment is don't waste any time at all trying to gather any information that seems to provide you with an answer. It does not work. Okay, take it from someone who wasted years and years continually trying to figure out. It just doesn't work. Okay? So step number 1 is acceptance of uncertainty and saying yes to it every time that comes up. Every time you have the instinct that you need to figure it out, that you need to gather some information, you need to do some ritual. Your first step is to say, hey, I've decided to do treatment on this, which means I've decided to accept uncertainty. What accepting uncertainty really means is I don't get to have my answer right now. It could be true. If it finally hits me and I have no doubts tomorrow that it's true, then I'll deal with it then. But for right now, I'm just living in this place of not knowing the answer to this. And then step two of my top 5 tips would be then using that feeling, that intuition that we have, that thing that's compelling us, the compulsion, the need to do the compulsion that creates all of the distress, whether it's anxiety or feelings of shame or feelings of doom, whatever it is. There's, for almost all of us, there's the accompanying emotion. So step number 2 is to finally do the opposite of what everyone who has OCD does until they learn treatment. Do the opposite and say, hey, I'm going to invite this discomfort to be here without doing anything to try to escape it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Maybe, and this is another place you can apply uncertainty with all of these things, maybe this feeling sticks around forever. Maybe it'll come and go. Maybe I'll get my answer tomorrow, but I'm not going to do anything to try to undo this feeling or to try to get the answer to my question or to gather any information at all. So if we go into tip number 3, and again, guys, these are all my general top 5 tips for really any OCD. Tip number 3 would just be to fully commit to treatment. And the treatment is exposure and response prevention. Okay, so we've kind of already covered the response prevention. The response prevention is where you just don't do the typical ritual or the typical compulsion or the response, these words are all synonymous, that you would normally do. Okay, in my opinion, ritual prevention is the most important step, is the most important out of exposures and response prevention. Response prevention, not trying to get the answer, accepting the uncertainty. That's a bigger portion of it. Exposures, again, I have a much more detailed video about it. Exposures are essentially you intentionally go out there, find things that are going to trigger you. You show your brain, not only do I not need to push you away when you happen, but I can intentionally seek you out. This is a very powerful message to send to the brain. Okay, there's a lot more to learn about exposures, but so acceptance of uncertainty, inviting the discomfort in. 3, do ERP. 4, we can get a little specific here about the gay spike, or if you're gay, the straight spike. There's a benefit to this particular theme that a lot of other people don't have with their themes of OCD. The benefit is if your worst fear comes true, right? If you wake up tomorrow, or if it hits right now, whatever, or if 10 years down the road you're married and you have kids and it finally hits you, the truth is there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing morally wrong with it. There's nothing legally wrong with it. You could, like nothing in your life could change other than you've changed the team that you're on. Okay, so one of the things that I would remind myself of a lot when I was dealing with this, I would just have written down on my note cards little things to keep me in treatment, to keep me from ritualizing, to keep me in the world of uncertainty, and to try to keep me somewhat positive and still able to function and be happy in life. So one of those reminders was what I just said. If I turn out to be gay, okay, it'll be fine. I don't get in any trouble. I don't go to jail. And more importantly, gay people like being gay. If I wake up gay tomorrow and there's no OCD around it, then I'm just going to be a happy gay guy. You know, it might be weird to have to come out to my family. I might have to break up with someone. That'll be tough. It won't be the end of the world. And so being gay is fine. If it turns out you are gay and there's no OCD getting in the way, you will enjoy being gay. Gay guys really like being gay. Gay women really like being gay. They enjoy it. Okay? The OCD is the problem for us. It has nothing to do with gay or straight. It has nothing to do with figuring out the answer. It has everything to do with our intolerance of uncertainty and the fact that we're having OCD about a particular issue. So that leads me into my next tip, and that is getting to that point where you can recognize, and look, people are at different stages along their HOCD journey, but when you get to the point where you can honestly look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I would rather just be gay and not have OCD than keep doing whatever this is, okay? Or if your concern more is you're just never gonna figure it out, right? It isn't that you might be gay, it's that, or it isn't that you are going to learn that you're gay, it's that you're just never gonna figure it out. You're gonna be stuck in limbo, in sexual orientation limbo for the rest of your life. Then I would rather just not know for the rest of my life. I would rather just not have an answer than continue to have OCD about it. Because the truth is you already don't have an answer. And it doesn't matter how many rituals you do. It doesn't matter how much time you waste trying to figure it out. You still don't have an answer. So why not choose to not have an answer instead of keep trying to have an answer and not have an answer anyway? Okay, OCD people aren't crazy. And so we can use rational parts of our brain to respond to OCD like that. And For me, I truly got to that point where I had been doing this for years. I knew I was still looking for an answer. I kept waiting with treatment. Like it was like, it's gonna finally click. I'm gonna get my certainty. I'm gonna get my answer. This whole question's gonna go away. It didn't go away. It didn't go away. I was doing treatment incorrectly. And so I finally hit that hump where I said, hey, I'd rather be gay and not have OCD, or I'd rather just not know. I'd rather just genuinely be uncertain and not have OCD. Okay, again, we're treating the OCD, nothing else. Okay, so I think that's tip 4. I may have said 5 in there. Yeah, look, if I'm going to say a 5th thing, I had some ideas written down, but it would be to begin practicing the thing that I've become certified as a teacher in, and that's the mindfulness practice. Now, I don't look at the mindfulness practice as a separate type of treatment. I look at it as a whole bunch of ideas and mindsets and attitudes to incorporate into your ERP treatment and into your life in general that can make things easier to process, that can increase your tolerance, your threshold for crummy feelings. And the practice really ultimately is not about trying to get anywhere. Instead, it's about trying to take a step into yourself, opening up to things exactly as they are and saying, hey, maybe this is as bad as things are going to be. Maybe this is it for the rest of my life. And can I just bring a certain level of peace and acceptance to things the way that they are? Now, of course, there's way, way, way more, but that would be one of my top 5 tips. I can't say that any of these are in a particular order, but probably I would list them like that: acceptance of uncertainty, the inviting of discomfort, and the mindfulness stuff wraps into all of that. The doing ERP, the having important reminders, phrases, ideas that you can tell yourself in the midst of an OCD spike. And all right, you guys, I know I tend to drag on here. Hope that is helpful. Please reach out. Like I said, I work with so many people now, and there's always people that skip a week or want to stop after a couple weeks. So there's always things opening up. If you would like to talk, send me an email. I'm at ocdmindful@gmail.com. Till next time, keep it real.